Yo guys, it's slyroh. You already know that today I'm bringing you guys my team analysis video for week 7 of the TBU. This week we're taking on Skyrander and his Scandanavian Stoutlands, and this is going to be a pretty interesting week. Last week, if you guys missed it, we did take on Leo, we did lose, and we have basically been eliminated from the playoffs, so that's fun. That'll be the first time that we've played in the TBU and have not gotten to play in the playoffs. I don't even know if there's any mathematical scenario where we could, but I'm just going to essentially assume that we don't got it. But that's where we stand now. We have 2 weeks left to play, and we still need to improve because I've been in a little bit of a slump in terms of my last couple seasons of draft league formats, so I definitely need to keep improving, and that is still a goal to work towards, and that's what I'm going to do, and so that is why I went all out this week. So we're going to go over the teams, and as we do that, you will see that I did make a bench switch. I actually brought Go-Goat off the bench and benched Slowking, which is a kind of interesting move because Go-Goat is my viewer pick, and I thought this would be the best week to bring it, but I'm sure if you see the team that I'm bringing, it's not there. And that is because the more team building that I did, the less it made sense to bring. And I've wanted to play Skyrander for a little while, since I think he's been in the TBU for, since I joined. I think when I joined, he was still here. Has he been in the TBU the whole time? Since it started? He might have been. But I do know he's somebody that I've wanted to play for a while. And I didn't want to force the viewer pick in this week. That does mean that I'm going to have to force it in next week. But next week, looking at the matchup, it's a matchup that I feel that I'll probably lose anyway. So next week is probably going to be a little bit of meme week to see what we can do with that. Because we have also not brought Cryogonal, so that might show up next week too. So that's already 2 Pokemon that almost are definitely showing up next week, and that is not looking like a good team. But I really enjoyed the building of this team so much that I decided that I had to give it my all, and I really think that I can win this game. And that would be really, really good for me to do, because 3 wins is better than 2. So let's go ahead and talk about the team. His team consists of Mega Blastoise, Excadrill, Tyranitar, Buzzwole, Gardevoir, Roselia, Sigilif, Zygarde, 50%, otherwise known as regular Zygarde, and Frostlass. And his bench consists of Jellicent, Alolan, Exeggutor, and Stoutland. And I am super excited because he benched Jellicent and brought Roselia off the bench, which is fantastic for me because I was struggling hardcore to figure out how to deal with Jellicent because it's just so fat. I know I could whittle it down over time, but just there's nothing on my team that just does enough output damage, one time damage output to do enough to it. So there's that. So I was really happy to see that he benched Jellicent and brought Roselia off. He's in a similar situation. He still has a better shot at playoffs than we do, for sure. So I don't know if he's bringing Roselia because he legitimately thinks that he can do something with it against my team, and he might be able to. Or I don't know. So we shall see exactly what that entails. I mean, if he does bring Roselia, I'm semi-confident that I should be able to deal with it. I mean, I outspeed it with most everything on my team, and I feel like I do have a good switch into it without even specifically designing a mon for it, so we shall see what happens. But I am scared of pretty much his entire team. I think they all have a good shot to show up. As far as I can tell from his sheet, it does look like he's never brought Sigilif to a match, so I don't know if that means that he won't or he will. But yeah, so there's a lot of threats to my team, so let's go ahead and start. I basically built a team that's in a similar sense to last week, where I just have a bunch of defense and a couple few offensive things. No, it didn't work last week, but I do think that I have a better matchup this week in terms of being able to execute this type of team. So we're going to be bringing back the specially defensive Assault Vest Mon, but instead of Komalo this week, it's going to be Dragalge. It's going to have Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, Scald, Focus Blast. This is to switch into Mega Blastoise. Max Special Attack Mega Blastoise does 30% with Ice Beam, I think, something like that. It might be a chance to 3 KO with Rocks Up, something like that. So that's my best switch into it. there's really not much else I have. So, yeah. Well, that's like my main switch in. Dragalge can also like take hits from other things. It surprisingly like doesn't take much from Frostlass either. I think Ice Beam from Frostlass is like 25%. That might have been timid, so if it's modest, it would be like a little bit more, but still, that's like nothing. And that's basically it, because his other special attackers, I mean, Sigil, Stab, Psychic would hurt, also Psyshocks. Gardevoir, same thing. Gardevoir is very scary, and you will get to that. But, so this is basically Mega Blastoise, because without this, I don't really have a good switch into Mega Blastoise, and I do have things that are slower than it, so I will have to worry about switching into it, so. But obviously, looking at this guy's team, you do see the Sand, we see the Excadrill Tyranitar, so I definitely need something for it, and I was going to have Go-Goat in this defensive role, but Go-Goat just doesn't 1v1 Excadrill. It just doesn't, and unfortunately, that was the only role that I thought it might be able to fill, but it's not fat enough. Palossand, however, Palossand, my man, really can deal with Excadrill, assuming I don't let it, like, get behind a sub and then like a Swords Dance and then I switch in Palossand. Like if Excadrill hits the field, Palossand hits the field. And Palossand is only for Excadrill. And Buzzwole, kind of. No, it's like its main thing is Excadrill. That's mostly it. So if Excadrill, you know, if he's trying to save Excadrill for a late game sweeper, then Palossand should not have to hit the field before that. I should hopefully be able to use my other mons to switch in to everything that I needed to and save Palossand specifically for Excadrill. That's literally all it is. Earth Power does a lot. 59%, 60, 70%, somewhere in that range. Earth Power does, so that's really good. Shadow Ball is good. It's also a good stab just to hit anything that might want to switch in. Should he try to send in Excadrill earlier, he has a lot of things to switch into. Shadow Ball could be good. The Sand is actually really good for me because Shore Up will actually heal 60 or two-thirds, so like 66% of my health in Sandstorm. So if he does try to bring Sand against me, that's actually going to help Palossand with this Shore Up. And then Toxic is for other things. Toxic is like a backup thing for I can Toxic the Buzzwole or the Zygarde should they come in on me, and you know, should I need to do that. But it's the same 4 moves that I always bring on Palossand. Palossand is a monster. I love it. It is putting in so much work. And so we'll just keep having to do that. But speaking of Buzzwole and Zygarde, we have a physically defensive Clefable. It is going to be Wish, Protect, Heal Bell, Moonblast. Leftovers, physically defensive, Unaware. I don't know, I said like 2 of those things twice. And this is to prevent setup from Buzzwole, from Zygarde, and from Tyranitar. All 3 of those things, Clefable can be 1v1. If Rocks and Spikes are up, Buzzwole is the best thing if he predicts the switch in by going for Poison Jab, and then 2 Poison Jabs have a chance to take it out. But I also have Protect, so I can get like an extra thing of damage, so I'm not too worried. I should be able to switch into all 3 of those things and deal with it. Now, it is going to be a little scary if all 3 of those show up. However, if all 3 of those show up, there's probably going to be some other things that don't show up, which means one of these 3 Pokemon here could be expendable. So if I have other expendable Pokemon, then I don't need to let Clefable like take on all of that at once. But I do believe in Clefable, and I do think that it can deal with all 3 of those Pokemon, because that is what I needed to do. But yeah, I've lost to... Every time I face Tyranitar, it does way more to me than I ever expected to. This is just another one of those matchups where I don't think Tyranitar is going to do a lot to me. But I don't want to be wrong on that. So Clefable can stop any sort of like setup T-Tar, like Dragon Dance. I'm also a little frightened of like a Dragon Dance Zygarde or a Coil Zygarde, so there's stuff like that. So I do need to worry about that, but yeah, as long as I keep Clefable healthy, it'll be good. And Wish Protect is also going to be good for 2 defensive things on my team that don't have recovery, one being Dragalge, and the other one being Electabuzz, which is mostly defensive. This is a mixed defensive. Eviolite 244 HP, 84 defense, bold, 60 special defense, and then the rest was in special attack. This defense spread just ensures that I don't get too KO'd by Gardevoir with rocks up, because I need to switch into Gardevoir, and I don't have a consistent switch into Gardevoir, and Electabuzz is kind of my best thing right now. I don't know that it's necessarily the best, the best mon in general for it, but if it's offensive, which I am expecting an offensive Gardevoir, probably Scarfed. A Scarfed Gardevoir does so much to my team. It gives me a couple times to switch into it, and then hopefully I can chip away some damage. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch out, Focus Blast for like T-Tar, HP Ice for like a Zygarde. I don't know if I'll necessarily keep all 4 of these moves. I might, because there's a very slim chance that his Zygarde would like I'm not going to be outspeeding the Zygarde. So, there's that. There's like no situation where I'll probably be able to catch it, but I guess if I can catch it and switch it, I'll probably just keep all these moves and just see what happens. I'm not super confident, but I just don't really have much for Gardevoir. Slowking would have been great, but then I benched it, so, it is what it is. But, yeah, Thunderbolt does a decent amount of damage to offensive Gardevoir, and Thunderbolt and Volt Switch are also good things to do for Mega Blastoise. So, there's that. Then, we are going to move on to my 2 offensive Mons. First one is going to be Landorus, Life Orb, Sheer Force. Pretty much the same type of Landorus that I bring every time, because it's just so good. This is going to be 228 speed, Naive, that outspeeds max speed Sigilif. Then with 244 special attack, the rest in HP, make it an odd number, all that fun stuff. HP Ice, Earth Power, Extrasensory, Rock Slide. I'm hoping that I'm not going to need HP Ice, but if I really need to take out Zygarde, HP Ice just does, it's like a higher chance to kill, so that's why I have it. Otherwise I'd put Stealth Rock, but again, if Zygarde is going just a little out of control, probably more of like a Coil set more so than a Dragon Dance, because if it's Dragon Dance then it's just going to kill Landorus, but should it be like a not that, then HP Ice is a good thing for me to have. Yeah, but Earth Power hits pretty much everything else. Extrasensory is for the Buzzwole, and Rock Slide is for the Sigilif, because HP Ice is like, if it's an offensive Sigilif, which most are, then HP Ice will do plenty, but Rock Slide will do more. If it's like, I don't know, the calc is misleading because it brings up like a specially defensive Sigilif, so I'm not really sure, but if it's like max HP, it's just, Rock Slide does more, and I need it, but Rock Slide does also hit Frost Blast should like I need it, but Earth Power actually kills Frost Blast and Rock Slide doesn't, or it's like a roll, so Earth Power is pretty much the thing to go for, but I need the Rock Slide for the Sigilif just in case, because, I mean, heaven forbid that there be a Pokemon on my opponent's team and I don't have a coverage move with Landorus to hit it, because that would be really disappointing if that happened. Not like it happened last week or anything, because it definitely did. But yeah, so that's Landorus with coverage moves and hurts things. Another thing that hurts things is Lucario. It's been a while since we have been able to use Lucario, but I'm so happy we have it now, and this is my late game sweeper potentially. But it does have Air Balloon and Inner Focus, with Flash Cannon or Spear, Psychic Agility, enough speed to outspeed an Excadrill, Jolly Excadrill, not in the sand, obviously. So, Lucario has coverage to hit everything so hard, especially since he dropped Jellicent. That means that I didn't need to bring Dark Pulse, which I had. But now I got to replace it for Agility, and Agility is fun paired with its Air Balloon, because if Excadrill goes crazy and knocks something out, I can switch into Lucario. He can't touch me with an Earthquake because I have an Air Balloon. I can set up the Agility, so even if he's in sand, after the Agility I'll be faster. And if he goes for the presumed Iron Head, which would be the other thing I would assume he would have, he cannot flinch me because I have Inner Focus. So, If Excadrill kills something, and I have enough... This is more of a late game situation, right? So, if he only has a few Pokemon left, or all of his Pokemon are like, have a lot of chip damage on it, and he's trying to sweep me with Excadrill, right? Say he knocks out something, then once I get an agility up, I can actually take out his entire team. Like, if I just get the right chip damage, the biggest obstacles to stopping this are Mega Blastoise and Sigilif slash Zygarde. No, Zygarde. I think Flash Scan does a lot to Sigilif. Zygarde, I think, is the other, like, somewhat fat thing that needs to be chipped more. So Mega Blastoise, Zygarde, and potentially Sigilif, I'm going to have to like calc it again just to make sure. Those are the ones that are going to need the biggest amounts of chip damage. Everything else just needs a little bit of chip damage on it, and then Lucario can just run rampant. The only problem with this set is that that's about the only situation in which I can go for the agility. I guess if T-Tar has Earthquake, the same thing could happen. But besides that, I don't live a fighting move from anything. Yeah, I guess Zygarde would also be a thing I could do it against, but Zygarde has to be like really low for me to be able to kill it then, so yeah, there's just not a lot of setup opportunities, and I can't really use Lucario in any other situation. So Excadrill either needs to be dead, and then Lucario becomes expendable, or it can take out slower stuff that I know isn't Scarfed, or, whatchamacallit? Yeah, or I have to save it for like the end of the game when he's trying to sweep me with Excadrill, which I feel like he's going to try and do, because if he gets up a Swords Dance, if Palossand's at full, Palossand can still live, but if Palossand has chip damage on it and he gets up a Swords Dance and he's in the sand, he actually runs through my entire team. So that would be a situation where I have to sack something and then bring in Lucario and try and pull off like an anti-sweep. Or something like that. So, we'll see if that works. If it doesn't work, then I'll just get swept by Excadrill. It happens, so we shall see. But that is my team. I feel like I put plenty of thought into this, and I hope that I put the right thought into it this time, instead of, like, like, misplaced judgment onto what to prep really hard for. I think I got everything covered, and I really hope that we get the win, because it'll make me feel good. Sky made it to the finals last year, so I want to still keep proving that I can beat good players in this league and in draft format in general, so that's my goal. We're going to go for it and see what happens. So, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the team. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the battle, and until then, guys, stay sly.